Sri Vrindavan Mahimamritam by Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, and we're discussing our 18th topic in the unfoldment of all the beautiful descriptions in Sri Vrindavan Mahimamrita by Prabodhananda Saraswati, and now we're discussing Palyadasi Mahima, the glories of the surrendered maidservants of Radharani. So sprinkled throughout the 17 chapters of this Vrindavan Mahanidhi are many, many verses describing the forms of the manjaris, and he's inducing us and encouraging us and ordering us to meditate. This should be part of your smaran, Shraddha Kirtana Smarana. You're interested in Rag Marg, and you're interested in Braja Bhakti and serving Radharani as a Pransaki Manjari, well then you have to look like this, and think like this, and serve like this, and feel like this. This is the bhav, this is the meditation. Meditation shapes our desires, meditation shapes our form, meditation determines our future. So whatever you meditate on, you become. You attain. You attain that thing, you become that thing. Krishna says the same thing in Bhagavad Gita. He talks about dhyan. Dhyan means meditation. Smarana. Smarana means meditation. Meditation means dhyana in yoga. So there's a nice verse, there's two verses in Bhagavad Gita that explain that you become what you meditate. The concept of meditation producing something tangible is explained very early on in the Bhagavad Gita. And two verses in chapter 2, verse 62 and 63. Krishna talks about dhyanam way before he talks about yoga. This isn't the contents of the Gita's summarized chapter. So the whole idea here of the Bhagavad Gita is summarized. 262, Dhayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangas Teshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kama Kuro Vijayate. While contemplating, it says Dhayato means meditating. While meditating or contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. Krodha bhavati samoha, samohat smriti vibrama, smriti brahmshad, buddhi nasho, buddhi nashat pranashyati. From krodh, which arises from kam, or lust, from anger, complete delusion arises. Sammoha. From samoha, delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. You can take this verse and apply it in another way to this concept of smaran in Raganuga Bhakti. The positive aspect of this verse. Here, Krishna is warning of the negative aspect of dhyana. Meditating on the wrong thing produces some internal transformation which leads to future bondage, incarceration and rebirth in this world by meditating on material objects of the senses, what the eyes perceive or the ears perceive. This contemplation will lead to absorption, attachment, absorption, and becoming that very object, and again taking birth. So now we see that Rupa Goswami Pad, Vishnu Chakravarti Pad, Narottam Das Thakur Mahashaya, and Prabodhananda Saraswati, and Raghunath Das, they're all telling us in their various writings to meditate. Smaranam. To meditate on what? To meditate on Nam Rup Gun Lila. Meditate on Nam Rup Gun and Lila of Krishna, which is a lokic, it's transcendental, and produces a spiritual, transcendental, liberating result. You go to Krishna, Punarjanma Vidyate, and don't take another birth. So that's perfect, pure, and proper meditation, which leads to elevation, liberation from birth and death. The improper meditation misdirected, wrongly directed meditation on Maya, or the material world, or the Namru, Guna and Lila, the material world, leads downward, keeps you in the material world in another birth. Now you look at this verse in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 62 and 63. From contemplation, from meditation on the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment. In Vrindavan Mahimamritam, Prabhupada Saraswati is teaching us to meditate on the objects of the senses. He's saying, meditate on this Manjari Sarup. And you'll hear somebody. So now we're meditating on a Rupam. But it's not the form of a material man, if I'm a woman in this world. It's not the form of some voluptuous, beautiful woman of this world. It's a form of a Satchidananda Rupam, a form of a spiritual personality, a Kinkari, an eternal servant, a Nityadasi of Radharani. So we're meditating on a spiritual form which is made of Satchidananda, spiritual elements. And then we meditate Dayato Vishayan Pumsam, the Vishaya, the sense object, the object of our senses. The mind is the sixth sense. So with our meditative mind, in our mind, we meditate on Rupam, which we see in our mind's eye, not our physical eye. In our mind's eye, we meditate on that form of Manjari Srup Dhyanam. Whether it's given by Guru through Siddha Pranali, which is Diksha Guru, or it's given by Shiksha Guru, as Prabhupada Saraswati is saying, this is your form, think like this. This is a form to meditate on. And the Sambandha is established by the cultivation of your own Lobha and your own Rag from last life and this life, and by the chanting of the Maha Mantra and performing devotion under the guidance of Guru in this life and from previous lives, one awakens his Sambandha Gyan, his eternal loving relationship with Krishna, which is more specifically known as Tahirati. There are 11 symptoms of this Ekadash Bhav which are given, and the first one, which is the basis of the other 10, is Sambandha. Sambandha means foundation or basis, a solid ground to walk on. So first you need some place of existence, some relationship. Who are you? I'm a daughter. Or what's your name? So there's Nam, and form, and complexion, and seva, all these things. The first thing is Sambandha. So Sambandha comes either it's given, it's revealed by Guru, Diksha Guru, it's revealed by bhajan, by devotion, it's revealed by Shiksha Guru, it's revealed by Antaryami, Sambandha. In this life or last life, these are the various forms. Then we begin a life of meditation, Shraddha Kirtana Vishnu Smaranam, Dhyanam. So we meditate, Dayatam Vishyam Pumsam, Sangas Teshu Bhajayate. He says the person develops attachment. So we constantly think of Manjari Srup. All throughout the book he's saying, think of yourself like this, meditate like this. Gopal Tapani Upanishad says, meditate on this form. Sanat Kumara Samhita says, meditate in this form. All very ancient books. Padma Puran, everywhere. So we meditate and we think, yes, this is my form. I am not man or woman of this world. I am not a product of Prakriti. I am eternal. I am unborn, undying, primeval. I am Satchidanand. This is my form. This is my Sarup. Jivera Sarupaya Krishnara Nityadahas. Nityadas Nitya Sarup. This is my Nitya Sarup. That I am of this Manjari Sarup. And I'm meditating like this. So I'm becoming attached. Just like we meditate, we look in the mirror from time of birth, become very attached to this mundane body the soul is traveling in. And we become attached. Sangas Teshu Vajayate. And this attachment, Sangha, arises for our body. We're very attached to our bodies. Physical body. Because of repeated meditation, repeated association, repeated identification, and reinforcement from the environment. Everyone's telling us, you're the body. You're a Marathi, you're a Russian, you're a woman, you're a lady. Oh, you're a lady, you have to sit like this. You're a man, you have to do like this. You're a man, you're a lady, you're this, that. And so we believe it. So now everyone around us is telling us, you're not this body. You have Siddhadeha, you have Sarup, you have Sarup, Siddha Sarupa, Siddharupena. Rupa Swami is saying, Siddharupena, Seva Sadagarupena, Siddharupena Chatriya. You have a Siddharup, you're Sarup, Jivara Sarupaya. Oh, I have a Sarup. I am that Sarup. Well, that is my identity. Well, I have to become attached to that Sarup. And I have to become... So then, Dayato Vishyan Pumsam, that person, the living entity, the Jiva, Pumsa, he becomes attached to the object of his meditation, which is his mind is meditating on that form. And then name, qualities, that will come later. But then he becomes very attached to that form. And then it says, from such attachment, lust develops. It says, kam. Kam means desire. So as one meditates on one's internally, antas chinta deha. Antas chinta deha. His internally conceived mental body, as he meditates, he develops strong desire. Sangat sanjayate kama. He develops attachment for this body, and from such attachment, intense desire. Desire for what? Desire to serve Radha in that body, to serve Krishna in that body. In a Nitya Leela, Astakali Leela. Astakali Leela Smarna begins with meditating on one's form. It's Siddhadeha. Desire is Siddhadeha Sarup. Sangat sanjayate kamat. Kamat krodha bijayate. Then it says, Krishna is telling Arjuna, from what is translated usually from lust, anger arises. So from this intense desire to serve Radharani in our internally conceived of and meditated upon Siddhadeha, let's say Manjari Kinkari, we become very attached and intensely desire when, kabe, when will that day come when I can do this service and that service. Then we become very angry. We become very angry, which means, why am I stuck in this material? Why am I still identifying with this material body? This is not me. Why am I still pampering this body and so much concern and worry, and people are paying so much attention, and I'm collecting so much praise or honor from this material body? Why am I going out into this body? I become angry at myself. Why am I distracted from meditating on my eternal Sarup? Why is my body pulling me into its pleasures and pains and hankerings and lamentings? So anger arises because our desire, our kama, our intense desire to serve Radharani is being distracted by this body. So we become angry at that distraction, inattention from our nitya meditation. And then from anger, delusion arises, etc. It goes like this. So eventually, delusion, bewilderment. Yeah, we forget. It says, Krodha bhavati samoha. From anger, complete delusion arises. So we become so angry at ourselves for forgetting our meditation, forgetting our eternal identity. It says, Jivara surupaya Krishna nityadas. We forget that we're eternal. We forget that we're Krishna's eternal servant, and we start to serve. We start to be the enjoyer, and we forget our sarup. Our sarup is in our mind, and we're conceiving of it. And we remember this stool body, bag of mucus, bile, stool, urine, and we become angry. And then, from that anger, delusion arises. We repeatedly chastise ourselves and rebuke ourselves in an angry mood for leaving our siddhadeha, leaving our true identity, and falsely identifying with this upadi, sarvapadi vinirmuktam. And then delusion arises. Delusion means that we forget, we become deluded and forget this material body. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. Bewilderment of memory means, it says here, samvat smriti vibrama. Vimoha, vibrama, smriti, means we completely forget any kind of identity and attachment to this material body. That is when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. When our memory, when we lose, we erase all memory files. I don't remember. Who are you? I have amnesia. You're my mother. I don't know. Who's mother? You're my father. I don't know. I forgot everything. I'm in amnesia. My memory is bewildered. All my material memory files are erased. My intelligence, I've lost all my intelligence. I can't discriminate. Don't you know? Can't you understand? I'm your mother. No. And then when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. So in this case, when we lose all our mundane lokic buddhi, material intelligence, and all our mundane material discrimination and vivek, then we fall into the pool of Ananda Sagar. We don't fall into birth and death, we fall into the ocean of devotion, Bhakti Rasmrita Sindhu. And there we rise and fall in the waves of devotion to Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world. So this is another way to look at these verses from Gita 262 and 263. So this is being told here in Mahanidhi in chapter 10, verse 89 through 95. Many verses about meditating on the forms of the manjaris of Radharani. So that was, let's begin. That was introduction. 89, Satika 10. Saraham tanmadyepi ati maduri mat yunmad rasam smarami shirada charana kamala jyotir atulam smarami shirada charana kamala jyotir atulam mahavistiranam tadganatanam kishorim navatal tadil lata gorim kanti Mradima Vijita Swarna Latikam. Of the two, Radha and Krishna, I choose to meditate on the incomparable vast effulgence emanating from the lotus feet of Sri Radha. Smarami Sri Radha Charana Kamal, Jyotir Atulam, Atul. Tula means balance, measure. Atul means you can't measure. Like we say Libra. We say Libra is a sign of the astrology. Libra means Tula. Tula means balance, weighing. You weigh something, a Tula, a scale, a balance scale. So Atul means immeasurable. You can't weigh it. You can't. So this is the incomparable vast effulgence, Jyoti. We've heard of the Brahma Jyoti. This is the Radha Charna Kamala Jyoti, the Jyoti, the light from Radharani's feet. Smarami. I remember that. And that is a reservoir, Radharani is a reservoir of the most intoxicating, transcendental mellows of ecstatic love. Madhuri Mat. Unmad Rasam. I also meditate on one fair complexioned young girl whose beauty defeats the beauty of fresh lightning. So I'm in Manjri Suru Bhajan, in this Rag Marg. We meditate on our forms as Manjris, and we meditate on Radha Krishna, Radha Dhyan, Radha Krishna Rup Dhyan, Rupa Chintamani, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur has written one small book called Rupa Chintamani, and in there he talks about the wish-fulfilling gem, but this is a Chintamani. Chintamani means a thought gem, Chintamani. Whatever desire or whim or aspiration or ambition or sankalp you cherish and hold dear in your mind will become fulfilled by meditating on the forms of Radha and Krishna. Rupa Chintamani. That book is quoted in my Art of Chanting book and reprinted in our small book called Radha Govinda Meditations. What's it called? Radha Govinda Rasa Nidhi Meditation. In Hindi, what's it called? Mahanidhi or something. So now, so we meditate on Radha's form, beginning with her smiling face, according to Vishwanath. We meditate on Krishna's form, beginning with his smiling face. Then we meditate on our forms, and we meditate on the Lila Stali, generically of Vrindavan, and specifically of the time, place and the time of our meditation. And our Guru's form, like this. So this verse is pointing us in that same direction of Rag Bhajan. I'm meditating on Radharani and I'm meditating on me. I meditate on one fair complexioned young girl, Gaurim Kanti, one Tadilata, Gaurim Kanti Radima, one fair complexioned young girl whose beauty defeats the beauty of fresh lightning. Vijita Swarna Latikam. Her beauty, she's so golden, like white lightning gold. Very beautiful, fair complexion. That's me. So here it says, I continually meditate on the very brilliant and sweet splendor of Sri Radha's lotus feet. I continually meditate on a certain young girl whose complexion is as splendid as new lightning flash, whose transcendental beauty and delicate soft features, Kanti Radima, have defeated the virtues of beautiful golden vines. Oh, that's Swarna Latikam. Swarnalatikam. Vijita Swarnalatikam, that's quite accurate here. The Gaurim Kanti Radima. Radima means delicate, gentle. Kanti, beauty, effulgence of that young girl, Navatadil, that very young girl. She's more beautiful than golden creepers. And here they say, defeats the beauty of fresh lightning. Because lightning is also like a creeper. Lightning goes like this. So I suppose you could even look at the Sanskrit. Lightning, it goes, across the sky. You ever see lightning goes across the sky like this sometimes, like a creeper goes. It's a sky creeper. Lightning's like a sky creeper. Well, they're both correct. The idea is they're beautiful. Now text 90. Diganta prachari chavim atula sundari lahari paritam vidagdi nidim amita bangi mayam tanum. Amita bangi maya tanum. Ananyam tadash dasim ativahala sneha vikalam kalambode param hitavatim tadkunanaya. That Manjari's bodily effulgence fills the 10 directions. That's pretty effulgent. Dig anta Prichadi, Chabin means effulgence. She's filled with waves of incomparable beauty. Atula Sondari Lahari. Lahari means waves. And we say, Yamuna ki, what is it? Lahari? Radhe, Bolo, Radhe. There's a song.
Yamuna ki Lahare Bole.
Yamuna ki Lahari Bole. Shri Radha Radha. Varsani Vali Radha. You know this song? This is one line from the song. Yamuna ki
Lahare.
Yamuna ki Lahari Bole. Maybe there's one word missing there, I think. Yamuna ki Lahari. Yamuna ki bi Lahari. So the Lahari, which is Brajvasha, Lahari. The waves in the Yamuna are chanting Shri Radha Radha. And the other day, the waves in Radhakund were chanting Shri Radha Radha, because a helicopter came on Bhutan Ekadasi and dropped flowers to worship Radharani. And the helicopter was so low. There was a helicopter once or twice before, but they didn't make waves. They made waves in our hearts, of course. But this one came a little lower. For some reason, I don't know if you were there. There was waves came up in the Radhakund, and they went and they splashed in the banks, and people were doing puja. The problem is they got splat, spam, it came up like this. And we were standing on the banks, and it came and sprinkled up and hit us on the bank, let the speaker nearby. So the Brahmins were observing that, and they said, "Oh, Radharani's both lost." Very, very happy. It was very nice. Uttan means to get up. Uto in Hindi means to rise up. Uttan. The demigods wake up after 4 months of resting, sleeping. Uto, get up. Indra, Agni, Varun, get up. You're sleeping so long. 4 months now. Wake up. Go to work. Yes. Oh, yes, I have to go to work now. Their wives are waking them up. Agni, Indra, wake up. Oh, I have to go to work. Yeah, come on. You're sleeping 8 hours because their 4 months is our 8 hours. So a working man sleeps 8 hours in the morning. His wife shakes him. Get up. Come on, it's late, you have to go to work. I've been up for 2 hours, have your tiffin ready, the kids are off to school, wake up. Oh. So it's 8 hours. And for the demigods, our 8 hours is their 4 months. So then, it's telling that she's filled with waves of incomparable beauty. That Mandri Pransaki of Radharani is an ocean of transcendental amorous pastimes. Paritam Vaidagdi Nidhim. That Mandri possesses a body that is endowed with unlimited skills. That unalloyed maidservant of Shri Radha is always overwhelmed by Radha's affection, and she crosses beyond the ocean of transcendental arts by her mercy, by Radha's mercy. Another translation. That Manjari fills all directions with her bodily luster, and she's splashed by the great waves of incomparable transcendental beauty. Atula Saundarya Lahari. She's a great treasure of transcendental intelligence. That's interesting. Vaidagdi. Paritam Vaidagdi Nidhim. Nidhim means ocean. She's a great ocean of Vidagdi. She's very Vidagdi, very clever. Vidagdi means very clever intelligence. Her form is unlimitedly graceful, and she's completely surrendered maidservant of Radha. Ananyam Tadasyam. She doesn't know anyone else but Radha. And she's overwhelmed with great love for Radha. And by Radha's mercy, she's able to cross from one shore to the ocean of transcendental skill to the other. So she's quite talented. Param, or Kalam Bode Paramparam. Para, like Parakar. Ambodi means ocean, Kala means arts, the ocean of transcendental arts. She crosses beyond the ocean of transcendental arts by Radha's mercy. Tat Karunya. So she is so artistic and clever, knows so many crafts and talents for the pleasure of Radharani. Is there something about the Sakhi Manjaris of Radharani? Text 91. Mahaveni Pucha Spurita Manigucham Nidaditim Tukulam Samvita Stan Mukulayor Murni Chamuhu Salajam Sasneham Samridu Hasitam Sangavalanam Vilokir Vishesham Sahaja Kutiler Vismaya Karim. Oh, that Manjari is so beautiful. A cluster of jewels hangs from the end of her enchanting braid. She repeatedly covers her chest and head with her cloth, and she bewilders everyone with her modest, affectionate, sweet smiles. That Manjari's sidelong glances and the stretching of her body. Mridu Hasitam Sangavalanam. salajam, sasneham, sumridu hasitam, sangavalanam. Very nice. She's Murdni Chamuhu, she bewilders everyone, her shyness, salajam, her sneha, her affectionate sweet smiles, and her mridu, her very gentle behavior. And then it says here, a cluster of jewels hangs from the end of her enchanting braid, whose braided hair is decorated with jewels and flowers. That manjari covers her head with a silken cloth, and she's very shy and affectionate. She smiles gently, and her movements are graceful, and her naturally crooked sidelong glances fill the entire world with wonder. And this is Vismaya Karim. Her Vilokir Vishvesham Sahaja Kutila. Her natural crooked glances, her naturally crooked sidelong glances fill the entire world with wonder. These are the eyes, the amazing eye movements of the manjaris. Because they have to communicate so many feelings and emotions to one another. They pick up some feeling or emotion from Radharani's heart. They have to convey it and pass it to the heart and mind of another manjari nearby or even at a distance. Sometimes they have to carry the feelings and emotions of Krishna to Radharani. There's one pastime where one manjari, this is in Vilakusa Manjali, Rati Manjari was in Nandagaon. In the early morning, Krishna's bathed in Nandagaon from 6 a.m. to 8:36. He was bathing and honoring his breakfast. Some manjaris also go there in the morning from Radharani's camp or other camp. They go there and they assist Radharani's bathing, of course they do. They assist Krishna's bathing with Raktak and Patrak and Payoda, Raktak and Patrak, and other house servants in Dasirati, house servants of Krishna. They're all gathered together to undress Krishna from his sleeping night clothes, pajamas, and then prepare him for his snan, vastra, and then anoint his body with oils and loosen his hair from the top knot in order to oil it and wash his hair. And all these so many services. Mother Yashoda is there kind of supervising. Now the manjari comes back to report to Radharani, and she said, "Oh, Radharani, I've just come from Nandagaon. Well, what did you see? And did you offer that garland? I made a garland this morning, and I sent it there. Did you offer that garland? I sent one small basket full of jasmine flowers, mogra flowers. Did you weave those flowers in Krishna's hair? And was he happy? Was he happy?" And then that manjari said, "Yes, Radharani, Krishna is very happy. I told him that you had personally plucked these mogra flowers for me to string and weave in his hair, wrap around his top knot. And I also told him that you made this wonderful Vaijayanti garland with your own hands this morning at sunrise in Varsana." Yeah, but how do you know he was pleased? Because the manjari just said, Radharani said, "Was he pleased with the garland?" And the manjari said, yes, he was very pleased, like someone might say. Well, how do you know he was pleased? So then Radharani asked this question to the manjari, "How do you know Krishna was pleased with my offering?" Then the manjari just looked in Radharani's eyes. And then she communicated with her eyes. Exactly, she captured in her eyes Krishna's heartly satisfaction. The satisfaction of Krishna at the moment he was told that this garland was made by Radharani, and these mogra flowers were picked by Radharani, which I've offered to you now. When that satisfaction and pleasure that was in Krishna's eyes, which rose from his heart, that manjari took a picture of that with her mind. And she carried that in her mind. When Radharani inquired from her, "How do you know? What is the proof? How do you know Krishna was satisfied?" You can just say that. How do I know? How can I be sure that Krishna is satisfied? Then that Manjari, Rati Manjari, looked in Radharani's eyes. When Radharani looked in her eyes, then she saw, oh, now I can see Krishna's satisfaction. I can see Krishna's satisfied heart in your eyes. So therefore the eyes, the sidelong glances, the naturally crooked sidelong glances fill the entire world with wonder. So many messages of love and so many impressions are carried in the eyes of the manjaris. Like a, what do you call it, memory disc in a camera? I call it memory disc.
SD
Memory card?
SD card.
SD card. So they have an SK card, Sri Krishna card. And then this way the Manjari was able to satisfy Radharani by clearly conveying not just some words but heart feeling of Krishna. And tomorrow we'll continue to hear more sweet glories in the Manjari's form and save us. Sri Vrindavan Mahimamrita ki jai.